Then welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to be talking about JavaScript array constant, and this is going to be our final lesson on arrays before we move into another topic in JavaScript. So we've come a long way towards patting ourselves on the back, considering different aspects of methods and properties of arrays in JavaScript. So in this lesson, let's quickly take a look at the array constant in JavaScript. In 2015, JavaScript introduced an important new keyword, const. It has become a common practice to declare arrays using const. Now, if you take a look at how we've been working with arrays from the beginning, we've always been making use of the const keyword. Someone might ask or question that, what about let, what about var? Is it that they are not acceptable when working with arrays? It's not that they are not acceptable, but for a very important reason, and for the fact that has become a common practice. That is why you see us using const keyword often and often in our previous example. Now, take a look at something very important with the use of the const keyword. An array declared with const cannot be reassigned. You see, when you declare your arrays with var, you can mistakenly reassign because var keyword works globally. That can actually make you have unexpected results or inconsistent results. Do you understand, from the output of your code? That is why const is the common practice, because when you declare a variable with a const, you cannot reassign that a variable like that. Now, you still also have to be very careful with your understanding of the const keyword, because of the fact that arrays are not constant. So when you see an array declared by a constant, it does not mean that that array is constant. The element of such an array can be changed. So the keyword can sometimes be a little misleading. So it does not define a constant array. It does define a constant reference to an array, which means that if you have assigned, an array to that keyword, you cannot, you can change the element, but you cannot reassign it or redefine it, because it defines a constant reference to an array. That means the value will not change. It will stay the same throughout. So, but because of this, the elements of a constant array can still be changed, as you are going to be seeing in this lesson. So, what do we mean by, values cannot be reassigned? So, let's take a look at an example here in my code editor. So I'm going to pull up my editor and do something and declare an array with const. So I want to make a cars array. Now, if I have this and I say, okay, I want to get the output of my cars. Now, if you take a look at my screen, you can see that these are the elements of my array, the cars array that I just declared. Now, let's see an instance of where you cannot reassign an array to a constant keyword. So I'm going to use the try catch method. I just demonstrated this one in the previous lesson. If you don't understand what it is, you can check online, or you can check previous videos when I was talking about variable keywords in JavaScript. So I will use the try and catch method in order to be able to demonstrate what this is like. So I will make this new array. So this is my array, and now we'll try and evaluate this and say I want to assign it another new car. Now this will cause an error because you cannot reassign a constant variable, as you can see already. Now I will now come inside this catch and say, okay, I want to catch this error. Sometimes, most times, you don't need to write it in full. This is just okay. And then here I want to just put an output for the error message that I'm going to get. So let me see. Invalid assignment to const cars. Can you see this? Which means that I cannot reassign this value to this my const keyword. So which means that this symbolizes the const reference to this variable. which means it will not allow me to reassign it. So I can change these elements. If I try to change the elements now, this will work. But if I try to change the arrays itself, so these are values. So let's say I want to change a particular element. Let's say I want to change this Volvo to Honda or to Toyota, it will work. But if I try to reassign completely the element of that array, it will throw this error, invalid assignments to const cars. So this is how you get to know that the keyword const does not allow reassigning of elements. Then elements cannot be reassigned, but you can change an element. So with what I have right here, let me get out of this and make another first array. So cars equals to this. So now if I want to change an element this way, it will not throw an error. It will allow me to do that. Now let's take a look of what I'm talking about. Now you can see that Zab has been changed to Toyota. So I can do this, I can change element, but I cannot reassign values to this particular array. So that is the difference. You can change an element, but you cannot reassign elements. I can as well say I want to add new elements. So if I want to add new elements, I can just use the push method, cars.push. So this is how you add new elements in JavaScript array. You can see now I have 4 elements. So and then I can remove an element. So I think that is there's one method for removing an element as well. So if you want to remove an element, you can do that. If you want to add an element, you can as well do that. And you can see that the display of this right here has increased the number of the elements in my array. So also you cannot assign values when declared. Let's say this. You cannot declare a const element and reassign value later, and you try to do something like this. So this will not work. You can see that it is not even showing me anything. So let me try and get an output for this, and let's see the output. It's not showing me, it's not writing the error. But if I inspect this, I definitely will get an error, and you will see the output. So missing equals in const declaration, which means that it will not allow me to reassign value when after it has been declared. So this keyword, const keyword, does not allow values to be added after initialization, which means that before you initialize that variable, value must have been added. And also let's take a look at how it works in our block scope. So let's say I have this const cars. So I have this, and in block scope, if you check the cars that I have at zero right now, my cars at position 0. So if I try to get this out, let's see, what's this? Doc is not Zap. This is what I have as my first element, which is correct. Now let me try and use a block scope for demonstration. If I have this, now this is a block scope. Now if I come outside of this block that I have here right now, and I do cars, I want to check what I have in the first index position, just like I did just now. So if you check, what do you have? You can see I still have Zap. So a const in block scope, you can check the value, the element of your array outside of that block scope, and it will still work. You can see that this is the scope, this opening and closing is the scope. But because I have this outside of this, you can see that this and this, they are still together. But what if I take this one out? What if I take what I have out here? What if I take it out? Now let's see, there's a problem, right? Let's see what that problem is. The problem is cars is not defined. So outside of this scope, JavaScript is not seeing it. So if I take this one back, if I put it inside, let's see, cars is not defined. You can see, but if I take this right now and I take it inside the block scope, let's see what will happen. Now you can see it. So you cannot call a variable that is declared outside of a block scope that with const keyword. It will always throw an error, and that is what you saw just now. So this is how var works with block scope in JavaScript. Thank you, and in the next lesson I'll see you.